When he was only 7 years old, Spanish-born dancer Angel Corella set his sights on the ultimate goal in ballet, to dance in New York with the American Ballet Theatre. In 1995, at the age of 19, his goal was realized when he joined the preeminent dance troupe as a soloist. Just 1 year later, he was named a principal dancer. His arrival was preceded by unprecedented fanfare for a dancer so young. The New York Times, for one, said, quote, "Happiness is a performance by Angel Corella." This year, he performed the title role in the American Ballet Theatre's world premiere of The Pied Piper. I am pleased to have him at this table for the very first time. Welcome. Nice to have you. Would you say sitting here, doing this is harder than dancing?
Oh yeah, much harder.
No. You first knew that you wanted to dance when you would, as I remember this great story, you went to some kind of physical thing and and basically said, I don't like that as much as I like dancing.
Yeah, the story is that since I was a little kid, when I was 2 years old, my mother used to take me to, well, she used to go shopping, and we would walk into a disco store where they were playing music, and I would dance. At that time, John Travolta was really famous, and I used to dance like John Travolta.
Yeah.
And so since then, I've always known that I wanted to be a dancer. And after school, my mother didn't want us to be in front of the TV like all the other kids, so she took my sisters to ballet, because that was the normal thing to do, girls that would go to ballet. And she asked me, what do you want to do? And most of my friends in school, they used to go to karate. Or judo.
Karate, yes.
So I said that I wanted to do that. And she took me one day and sit me in the class. And one of the kids broke the nose of the other one. And he was bleeding and screaming. And I said, well, I don't think I'm going to come back here. And so my mother said, well, I have to run a lot of errands, so I have to leave you here with your sisters. And I would sit down and watch the whole class for an hour and a half and not move. And one day I just got up and I started turning around the room, and the teacher was amazed. She was like, I have girls here that they've been dancing for 7 years and they don't know how to do that.
Now, how do you explain that?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know where it comes from. I don't really know my desire of dancing. So that's how I started. I started thanks to my sisters, and.
But does it lead you to some idea that that for certain, if you take somebody who's as good as you are, who at the top of their form, they were born with lots of talent, that later they develop, that they practice, and they hone to its ultimate perfection.
I actually did. I mean, when I started turning around the room, it wasn't perfect, but it was a lot of potential and something that nobody taught me before. So I joined that school in a small town outside Madrid. That's where we used to live. Yeah. And I was teasing the school. I mean, after school, I would have to run home because other kids in school would throw me rocks and try to hit me. So, because I was a ballet dancer,
right.
and it's sort of strange. And for kids, it's normal. I mean, they don't understand what a ballet dancer is. So,
why did you persevere?
Because I loved it so much. It was something. It was like telling me not to talk or not to breathe. It's really hard to explain for a dancer what it's like to be a dancer. I mean,
well, try though. That's a great question.
That's why I say that it was a lot harder to talk than to actually dance. Because when I'm dancing, it's a lot easier to express my emotions through the dancing. It's a lot easier for me to talk. It's sometimes harder than just, I can tell you how I feel by, I don't know, doing a pirouette or doing a jump or doing a variation that by talking.
Most dances, I mean, there is a set piece, multiple set pieces, in which you are, in a sense, showing amazing abilities to both interpret as well as execute, correct?
Exactly.
What's in the head? What are you thinking about?
Most of the times, nothing. You just listening to the music, and it's like the music gets into your ears, it gets into your head, that's what it drives you around and makes you dance. And there's nothing really in your head. It's just a lot of different emotions and a lot of different, that it's not in a specific thought. It's just, you're just listening to the music and letting the music just make you dance. I think a lot of people have listened to music at home and start moving your bodies like you can't stop moving. So dance is a little bit like that, but with positions that you have to take as classical training.
Yeah.
So
was it always easy? I mean, did you have a life of one extraordinary career development after another?
No, it was actually really hard until I got to American Ballet Theatre. It was really hard. Not they put me a lot of. I mean, they made it really difficult in Spain for me.
Why?
Well, for different reasons. I don't know if it's because of jealousy or because, I don't know, it's really strange. I still ask myself why, and now I'm I don't know, a national hero, but I'm really famous in Spain because of all my success in America, but I've never danced in Spain, really. There's not a classical company in Spain, and I don't know, when I joined that school, the other kids, I didn't have any friends because I was a little bit better than the other kids, so they weren't very happy about that either. And then I joined the company, and after I joined the company, nothing happened. So
why not? All about Spain, you think?
I don't know. I have no idea. So,
but did they recognize? I mean, that you had this.
No, not until I
there was
came
no
to
encouragement
America.
saying you're going to be all that you might dream
never.
of being. Your dreams will come true. You have it. You're special. You're
never.
unique.
It was the opposite. No,
you're not special. You're not unique.
Well, you're not as good as you think. Just it's not your moment yet. Just keep waiting. Just keep waiting. Just keep waiting. And I was just tired of waiting.
And so, what did you do?
I went to Paris competition.
Paris.
Yeah. Well, at that moment, I didn't know what to do. So the first thing that came to my mind, a competition, which I'm not particularly. I wasn't very happy about it because I don't think ballet artists shouldn't be a competition. There's so many wonderful dancers and they have so much to give on stage that you can't compare one to the other. When there's a professional level, it's just whoever you like better than the other. So, well, I went to the competition just to look around to see what the level was, and if they weren't using me in the company, it might be because I wasn't good enough. So that's what I wanted to find out. And when I got to the competition, I won the gold medal in the Grand Prix. And in the competition, Makarova was in the jury.
Yeah.
So she asked me, what would you like to do? And of course, I was very naive. And since I was a little kid, I always wanted to be in American Ballet Theatre. But it was always a dream, something that you always wanted, but you'll never see the way that it could happen. So I said, I would love to be in American Ballet Theatre. And then she said, well, let me talk to Kevin McKenzie and see what we can do.
Yeah.
And they asked me to send a tape of me dancing because I guess that time they were very busy and they couldn't really pay attention to a Spaniard guy that wants to be in ABT. So I didn't have any tapes of me dancing because I never danced. So I decided to come to New York.
Oh, yeah, to New York, right.
Yeah, and I took audition with ABT, and they gave me a soloist contract, and that's where everything started.
And you debuted in 1995?
Yes.
And what was that for you? I mean, was that...
Well, I felt like a lion that they opened the cage and I just scream out. Like, sometimes the energy that you have on stage, it's so powerful that you don't feel your body. It's really strange. It's like you don't feel any muscle in your body. It's all at a different level, and you don't see the floor. You just see a lot of people just sitting there expecting to do your best. And that's how I felt. It felt like a huge scream. Like I was screaming from the beginning until the end. Like finally I get to dance. So that's how I felt. I remember perfectly well every single detail, every single moment. A lot of the performances now, they just sort of blend together, but there's a few of them that they were really special, and that was one of them.
What was the repertoire?
I was doing Pes and Parada and Giselle. Yeah. And it was really funny because I was really nervous, and we have a shoe spray to change the color of the shoes. And that day, I sprayed my shoes like 20 times because I was really nervous. I didn't want to have a single spot on the shoe. And I sprayed so much paint on it that the leather just ripped apart. And when I was dancing, the shoe just broke in half. And I had to dance with the shoe broken, and I had to tape it really fast on the wings when the girl was dancing. So it was a very, very special performance.
And what's been the highlight since then? I
don't know. There's been many great moments in my career. I mean, I think every day is an incredible moment. Every day something great happens.
So every dream has come true except one. Yes? One would be to go back and dance in Spain.
It's not a dream anymore.
No?
No. I gave up after a while. It's not that
How could this be?
I have no idea. I don't know. Because the audience, the people in Spain are really anxious to see me dance, but I don't know why there's not...
Do we know who the cultural minister of Spain is? I mean,
yeah, we do know, but he's not very interested, I guess. we hope
we would think this could be changed, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be, you say you've given it up as a dream because you don't think it's going to happen. But to go home, I mean, with dance in your blood and with Spain in your blood.
Yeah, definitely.
Are your parents alive?
Yeah, my
Both?
parents, yeah.
So your mother, who wanted all this for you?
Well,
to see with her neighbors and her friends?
My mother was just here.
I know she's seen you dance, but she hasn't seen you dance in Spain.
Well, she's sort of used to it too, and she gave up.
She did.
She's like, well, I have my own group of dancers, and sometimes we put a group together and we try to go to Spain and sell it to different theaters in Spain, but it's been very, very difficult.
Has your dance changed much since you've been at the ABT?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
In what way?
In many different ways. I think you as a dancer is really together as how you are as a person, and I've grown a lot as a person, so it shows on stage. If you're doing a role like Romeo or like Albrecht, all those emotions that you go through life, you put them on stage. So I've grown a lot since I was 19 and I joined ABT. I'm 25 now, and life changes, and you change at the same time.
Who are your heroes?
My heroes are my parents. In general, my family and my friends are.
In dance?
In dance, there's not heroes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that I admire, but I don't know.
Baryshnikov?
I love Baryshnikov. I've always loved him. I love Nureyev, Vasiliev. There's been many wonderful dancers that they've done a lot for us, and I hope that I'll be doing something for the next generation.
You think you could watch a young dancer at the same age you were when you started and tell them whether they had it or not?
Definitely. I don't think I have to tell them. I think they know, and everybody else knows. There's a lot of talented guys in the company right now that
They haven't made it, but you know they will.
Yeah, definitely.
They'll be stars.
We hope so, yeah.
I want to talk about Pied Piper in a second, but so what's the great ambition now, other than to...
I've never had any specific ambition
in
my life.
No role, no place we know, no role, no...
Well...
your own dance company.
All in my life, my career has always been a surprise. I've always, every day when I woke up, there was something greater than the day before. So I've seen a lot of friends and a lot of people really close to me that they have a goal in their life, and they're getting older and they see that that's not happening, and they're completely devastated, and they're totally lost because they don't know what to do now. It's like, so I'm not going to get it, and what am I going to do now with my life? So I said,
and they lose confidence and lose self-esteem and lose a sense of
so I've never asked for anything, and anything that comes to me, that's great. So whatever happens, then it'll be great. And if I have to quit dancing, I mean, it will be horrible because it's part of my life, but I think I'll be ready to do it.
When?
I don't know, whenever.
Well, what's the average? I mean, Nureyev danced until he got sick, didn't he?
Yeah, well, I think it depends.
Baryshnikov is still dancing?
Yeah.
Right. And Baryshnikov is about 50, isn't he?
Yeah. I think it depends how well you take care of your body, and I don't think I'll be able to dance when I'm 40 the same way that I'm dancing now. I can still say that I'm not able to do the same things. I don't think I was so conscious when I was 19 of the things that I was doing. I will throw myself into it and without thinking. Now after a few injuries, then you start thinking, okay, you have to be more careful about that jump.
You had a great quote, which I like, which is dancing. Basically, there's a term in sports which is playing within your game. You know, and you said once about dance, you went out and did everything as you danced, you jumped as high as you could. You did everything as
Yeah.
And then you learn to tone it down.
Well, there's but I don't think it's any better. Sometimes people tell me, well, you're a more mature dancer, you're much better of a dancer right now, and I don't like that. When I watch tapes of Nureyev when he was really young and when he was a little bit older, you can see the difference, but I still enjoy when he was really young and really wild, that all that energy he didn't have when he was a little bit older. So I don't know, I've learned how to pace myself and know when I can put a lot of energy in some steps, and with some others I just can't just stand there and let the audience, I don't know, see me first.
Yeah.
Before, they didn't have the chance to see me. I was running from one side to the other. So I've learned how to be on stage and be comfortable. I think that's what it gives you with time.
Pied Piper.
Yes.
Tell me about this role.
Well, it's a role that we spend a lot of time with, and David started choreographing last year, right after the Met season, and I don't know, there's so many things involved, there's so many projects, so many different things that David wanted to do that I don't know if at the end he ended up doing everything that he wanted to do, but I don't know, it was really hard to put together. There was a lot to deal with, and it's one of the hardest roles that I ever had to do.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's a 50 minutes variation. You're on stage without stopping. There's a point on the ballet that I just want to walk out and say, that's it, I give up. Because it's really tiring. There's a fight with big rats, there's a whole variation, a whole section by yourself, and then little small rats, they come in and you have to dance with them, and then you do another variation, and it feels like it's never going to end.
And how is it different from the poem?
Well, there's a few different things. I don't know if David wanted to make it look different or not, but I come into the town and the rats are not there yet. They come in after I come into the town, and the poem is different. There is a mentor and a little kid that is sort of like the next generation that after the older mentor dies and he passes the flute to me and the magic to me, and then of course I'll be passing it to the next generation, which is not in the poem. And I don't know, there's a few different things, but I'm attacked by the rats, which in the poem doesn't say that he is. I mean, by the magic, he just takes them out of the town. So there's a few different things, but I don't know. It's really hard sometimes to tell a story through dance. It's people like Agnes Demille or Anthony Tudor. They were really masters in doing those things. It
is extraordinary, the number of really sort of gifted people. You know, I remember interviewing Anthony Tudor before he died. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just amazing the number of people that have come through either the world of choreography or the world of artists.
Yeah, and it goes really fast.
The career of a dancer is how long? Well, we just talked about it could go longer.
Yeah,
but
well, I start really soon. I mean, I never thought that I would become a principal dancer when I was 20 years old, but normally it starts when you're 24, 25, and it goes until you're 40. Yeah, 15, that's pushing a little too much. Right. Yeah. So,
would you like to be a choreographer?
I would love to be a choreographer, a teacher, I don't know, coach. As much as I can help. Sometimes if I'm seeing a dancer that is having difficulties with some step, I try to help him as much as I can. Depends if he wants to be helped or not, but I try to.
Thank you for coming. It's a pleasure to have you on the program.
My pleasure.